Is it finally time we hear what is going to be coming from Square Enix in 2025? Because we have a Nintendo Direct coming up a week before the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. I don't know what we can expect, but we can certainly speculate because now could well and truly be the time to talk about what's coming in 2025 for Square Enix. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. If you like what you're seeing, please consider hitting that like button. If you want to stick around for some more content, then please hit that subscribe button. So how am I going to tackle this video? Because we have two directs coming up, Switch 1, Switch 2. What could be happening? Many things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ball it all into one and just go off for the final speculation on what we could be getting. So let's go through what we could be seeing. I think the one thing I want to get out of the way is the thing that we'll probably definitely see either in the Switch 1 Direct or the Switch 2 Direct, and that is Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake. I believe that we will get our release date trailer. We will finally find out when it's coming for us to play. Dragon Quest 3 was highly successful, especially in Japan last year. My hype is high for 1 and 2 because of the continuation of the story, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing it either this week or next week. Sticking on the subject of Dragon Quest, let's talk about Dragon Quest 12, shall we? I think it is highly possible that we will see something Dragon Quest 12 related next week in the Switch 2 Direct. So I'm thinking Dragon Quest 1 and 2 this week and Dragon Quest 12 next week. The only reason I say this is because Dragon Quest 10 and 11 had a presence at the Nintendo Switch event back in 2017. And of course, we got Dragon Quest 11S, which is the definitive version of Dragon Quest 11, and it absolutely smashed it on the Nintendo Switch. So it's only natural to keep that momentum going with Dragon Quest 12. So let's move on to another property of Square Enix. Let's talk about Final Fantasy. Whoa, we're opening Pandora's box here, because what could we be expecting from Final Fantasy on the Nintendo Switch or the Nintendo Switch 2? I'm going to get the safest bet out of the way, and the one I highly think we'll hear something either this week or next week, and that's Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered. I believe that this is a thing. I think it's been a thing for a very long time, since we got Tactics Ogre, and I think the time would be nice to have it in 2025, and I do indeed think that maybe we'll be hearing about it sooner than later. Now, when it comes to the style of this game, I'm thinking not a HD 2D remake. I'm thinking pretty much on par with what we got with Tactics Ogre, though with Final Fantasy Tactics being more beloved, I think that they may make the pivot to a HD 2D style, much like Triangle Strategy. That is my 95% sure guess of what we'll see from Final Fantasy. So let's address the other elephant in the room, Final Fantasy IX Remake. We are going to hear about it in the Switch 2 Direct. I think it will be a nice headliner for Square Enix. I don't think we need to hear about it in the Switch 1 Direct, but I truly think that we will hear something about Final Fantasy IX Remake in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. If we don't, then I'm probably going to just go off into the sunset. Probably not. I'll probably still talk about it until it actually happens, but I'll have a sure feeling that we won't be seeing it until probably the end of the year. Hoping, we'll see. And then last but not least, I want to talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, I don't think this will be at the Switch 1 Direct. I think this will be a Switch 2 title. We've heard rumblings of a port and that it is possible. People have even seen a remake running on a Switch system. So that leads me to believe that this would be a nice headliner for what the Switch 2 is capable of by showcasing some high quality in Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. Still can't get my head around Rebirth being on a handheld console, but you never know, we might be a little bit surprised, and I think that's everything when it comes to Final Fantasy. Some of you might be thinking Final Fantasy 13 Trilogy. I don't think a Nintendo Direct would be the place to showcase that. I think that's more of a Sony showcase, personally speaking. Now, I've noticed in this video that I have talked a lot about remasters and remakes, and I wanted to spend this section of the video on saying that I think we'll get a new IP from Square Enix, much like when Octopath Traveler was announced, Project Octopath, same with Triangle Strategy, it was Project Triangle Strategy. I think we might get the next iteration of what that might be in a HD 2D style maybe, but it's going to be a completely original IP, though on the flip side of that, they might just move HD 2D completely to the side and just have an IP with its own unique art style, and I would welcome that with open arms. I think we need new IPs, and I'm sure Square Enix must have at least one new IP cooking somewhere along the line. And I do think that the Nintendo Showcase, whether it's the Switch 1 or the Switch 2 Direct, is a perfect place to get that done. Not much else to say when it comes to a new IP because I can't really speculate and say this is coming out here, this is coming out there, but I think it's a safe bet. I think it really is. But let's go back to remasters and remakes, and I want to talk about Bravely Default. I think Bravely Default 1 and 2, especially 1 and, what is it, Brave Layer or something like that, the ones that came out on the 3DS, have a shot of maybe getting a port to the Switch 1 at least. I don't think it's something we'll see in the Switch 2 Direct, but it's certainly something that we may see, but then with a little tease of a third game maybe that we will see at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. I'm speculating, I'm having a little bit of fun, and I'm definitely going off the beaten path a little bit with my predictions, but it could happen. I would like to see some more Bravely Default, and I think the Nintendo system is the perfect place to get that done, as well as having those ports available on other systems. Kingdom Hearts 4, I hear you say. No, we're not going to hear anything about that, okay? We're not going to hear it at all at the Nintendo Direct. We're probably not going to hear about it at all this year, maybe towards the end, but that's just a video for a different time, right? That's a big subject upon itself. But no Kingdom Hearts stuff here. Maybe Kingdom Hearts native ports to the Switch, but I am literally hanging on by a thread with that one. Retreading some ground that we've spoken about, Chrono Trigger HD 2D remake, that could happen at this Nintendo Switch 1 Direct, but on the flip side, I think it would be really nice to showcase that at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, because we got a HD 2D game tease back in 2017 with Octopath Traveler, and people were interested. They're like, look at this pixel looking RPG from Square Enix. I think Square Enix have got something up their sleeves again, and that could be Chrono Trigger. And I think that's about everything. I'm just a little bit, in that excited mood. I think when we get to hear about new games, I never set the bar too high personally. I speak a big game and I make these wild predictions, but I keep my expectations certainly in check. I just enjoy the discussion, and I'm welcoming your suggestions and what you think we will see in the next 2 weeks from Nintendo when it comes to all things Square Enix. Will we finally get that Final Fantasy IX remake? Will we get Chrono Trigger HD 2D remake? Will we get Dragon Quest? Or will we get absolutely nothing? I think with April coming around, I think Square Enix are ready to shift into gear to show us what they have planned for this year. It might not be a stacked year, but there's going to be some memorable titles, I'm sure. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.